In totality, the Fed and the government are trying to screw the middle class. What's up, everybody? Welcome aboard to Bubbas Bottom Line for Sunday, May the 5th, and Cinco de Mayo. Happy Cinco de Mayo. And, of course, as we witnessed last week with the Fed meeting, the jobs number, the new taxes they want to talk about, the capital gains 45% taxing things that you haven't sold yet, between the Fed and the United States government, well, I guess the Biden administration will say, they're trying to fuck you. They're trying to steal everything you got. And if you remember the movie Lethal Weapon 2, Joe Pesci, they fuck you in the drive-thru. And of course, we continue to see this ability for the government to pass new things that take away more of your freedom and cost you more money to do so. So you get the privilege of getting ripped off and getting stolen from and paying more money as the middle class continues to get destroyed while the uber wealthy continue to flourish. Now, again, I will be clear. I have no problem with capitalism and the wealthy flourishing. I do have a problem when there's a thumb on the scale by the government trying to help them destroy and bring either communism, fascism, Marxism, or socialism to this country. Okay, that's what I have a problem with. The unleveling of the playing field is disgusting, and of course, especially when the Democratic Party is supposed to be the party of the small guy, and with all they're doing to the small guy is destroying them. Okay, I mean, the Biden's agency is trying to, his economic head is trying to explain how they continue to borrow money and why we cannot live on a budget. Of course, when you're giving all your money away to Ukraine and others, okay, and allowing illegal immigration, okay, at an alarming rate, what did you expect? Okay, so they're taking your tax dollars, they're taking your money, okay, and they're giving it away to Ukraine. They're giving it away to the import of illegal aliens, who they have now actually letting them make flight reservations to come in. Okay, they're giving away to support drug dealers, crooks, thieves, but not you, the middle class American. Okay, I think you can see it by the manufacturing numbers. You can see it by the service numbers, all down. Okay, housing, yes, it is higher, but if you inflation adjust it, they are not higher. And of course, to speak of inflation, we are not anywhere near out of the inflation problem. And really, the truth of the matter is inflation shouldn't be a problem. If you would let the free markets trade, you would not have an inflation problem because the asset classes would price themselves. But when you continue to add tax on people, either the hidden tax of inflation or trying to tax, now they want to tax capital gains at 45%, and they want to tax unrealized gains that you've made. So again, where is the fair and equilibrium allowing the free market system to work when the government is trying to continue to put their hands in your pockets? And this all brings in the fact that if you watched the moron Jerome Powell speak, and it's a shame because I know he came from Citadel and I thought was the right guy for the job, but he turned out to be just another. I guess it's like a magic spell when you walk into that glass tower of the crooked banking system, okay, and you turn into an instant moron or an instant puppet who now is talking about, well, the inflation is not so bad. Well, again, if you don't count food and energy, maybe it's not so bad. But unfortunately, most people need food and energy to survive. But of course, somebody asked them the question about stagflation. He says, well, I don't know nothing about stag and I don't know nothing about inflation. So, but if you can see what's happening, we had a jobs number on Friday that was a dramatic miss. Now, again, I don't care that it's a dramatic miss, but I do, I guess, chuckle, but find it very disturbing, the reaction from the market to a major miss in the jobs number, and that was the explosion higher, which is telling you that we're still trying to bet on rate cuts. And I'm telling you that there will be no rate cuts unless there's a political event that Jerome Powell wants, and it seems to me that maybe he's trying to be more midline right now, or we are going into a depression. Okay, that is the only way that they're going to cut rates. It cannot be done based on the information, based on what we have, because if you think inflation is hot now, cut rates a little bit, because remember, the average person does not benefit from rate cuts, okay? Because they don't have the credit, they don't have the ability to take advantage of the money. So all a rate cut would really do would allow those that can borrow, okay, and have the capacity and the ability to pay it back, to borrow money cheap and you turn it back and increase a higher yield. So it's basically operating like the Federal Reserve, taking money, turning it into an asset and letting it work for you, and then paying back at a lower rate. It's not a good picture. It's not a good look. But again, that is the problem when you try to control markets, and when the Federal Reserve, which is virtually breaking the law, okay, because their mandate is not to control interest rates. Their mandate is jobs and price stability. Okay, and they have tools that they can use, but they have far exceeded those tools, and they are on the borderline of breaking the law. Okay, and again, the lunacy of taxing unrealized gains. How moronic can that be? Okay, you want to tax gains that I have that I haven't realized, and yet so those you could tax me on those gains, and then those gains could go away. I've already paid the tax, and I don't get the write-off back on the other side. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Okay, the lack of progress of what the Federal Reserve is doing. I mean, all they've become good at, and I'm against the Fed. I think the Fed should be ended. I think Ron Paul's right, and at least the Fed should be audited by not their own auditors, by an independent auditor, because there is a scam going on here. This is a large Ponzi scheme. This is no different than what Bernie Madoff did. The destruction of people that is happening to the people because of this government, because of the Federal Reserve, is in the billions. I mean, it is massive for the destruction of wealth to those that are right on the cusp. Okay, and of course, we have this new talk of basically a DEI tax. Okay, and of course, if you're in this DEI crap, it is a criminal as far as I'm concerned. Okay, but again, now they want to tax some of the upper end at a higher rate to make the system more equal, or whatever you want to call it. But again, I know one thing for sure: business and money don't know color, they don't know race, they don't know gender. All they know is, did you create a good product? Is it something that can work in your favor, and can it make things better? That's all I know. Okay, so at the end of the day, we have created a major mess, and of course, the other problem that we have is that the state of the world press situation. Okay, the United States is one of the worst. Okay, at allowing true freedom of the press, at allowing the ability for them to report correctly. And of course, listen, we do have more of our press corps, more of our things are lean to the left, and I have no problem with that. As you know, I've made it very clear that I'm a libertarian. I kind of sit in the middle of the fence, but at the end of the day, you have to allow speech and freedom of press to let things out, and you cannot continue to stifle. And if you've seen the stuff on any of the social media platforms, which is most people get their news now, it is disgusting at the censorship that is going on in this country. So between all of the things we're watching, I think that we're seeing a total meltdown of freedom. I think that if we continue at this pace, there will be a civil war or a revolutionary war, or you'll be in communism America. This is Bubba's Bottom Line, top up Horowitz. We're going to step out here for a break, and we'll be right back with more after the break. Bubba's Bottom Line. Well, kids, of course, I have a couple of sponsors and always share it with you. And of course, they are brokerage partners. And I do have many brokers, but I do want to share the ones that I think are the best for all of us. And of course, it's Capital Trading Group that manages all of our Love of Direction trading, and of course they're partners with us on the Day Trader's Dream, which we've turned it around and really been kicking some ass, and I think that it's great to check them out. But check them out, info.capitaltradinggroup.com/Bubba. And of course, Tradier Brokerage, which is $10 a month flat brokerage fee. I mean, again, I don't know how you can beat that. Check them out. And of course, their information is on the side, scrolling, and of course, well charts and our high school program. So check them out. Again, it's something that we want you to be able to help yourself and save some money and work better for yourself. So again, it's with your best interest in mind, because these are things that I use for myself. In the meantime, let's get back to Bubba's Bottom Line and myself, Todd Bubba Horowitz, and our market report. Welcome back. It is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Todd Bubba Horowitz. It is Sunday, May the 5th. And of course, markets last week were crazy, and they ended up soaring higher after being all over the place. And again, you can just look at it. I mean, when the markets are begging for lower interest rates, when they're not going down, they can't really go down. They don't have inflation under control, but yet the markets are higher, and we don't fight it. Okay, we're going to be reversing to long. We had already reversed the Dow to long last week. This week, okay, tomorrow or tonight, again, depending on when you want to trade it, we're going to reverse the S&P, the NASDAQ, and the Russell to long. Okay, again, not that I love that. I really hate it up in these levels, but of course we have the ability to go flat, which obviously I can't tell you now because I can't tell you what's going to be happening in the morning when I do my check. But we will be long the four major indices in the the dollar, which we no longer trade, but we would be reversing to short if we did trade it. And it was lower last week. The euro currency, which we were short, we will be reversing to long. Okay, and again, I can't say that we're going to be long tomorrow morning because I don't know where it's going to be. But the signal is to the long side right now. The bonds and notes, the notes are going to actually reverse to long. The bonds are going to stay on the short side of the market. But I don't believe the notes are going to stay there much longer. I think you're going to see another reversal in the notes at some point here, because I think interest rates are going higher, and the key benchmark is the 10-year notes. Bitcoin is higher, and of course we still remain short Bitcoin. But again, for example, on Friday we were flat the indexes that weren't higher when we're supposed to be short, and we were flat Bitcoin when it was higher. So again, it's not. We can make some adjustments. I'm just giving you the core position. Gold and silver are both still short, and again, I think that I think actually gold is short, silver is long. Look, I think they're both going higher, but there was a reason to believe there would be some selling. Copper we are still long and is still going higher. The grain markets were long across the board, and they were higher across the board on Friday, and I would expect maybe this looks like the start of something new. Although we don't trade the meats, I do, and I'm still short cattle, and I'm still long hogs. Natural gas, we're going to reverse to long from short. Okay, and in the softs, cocoa we are short, cotton we are short, OJ we are long, coffee we are short, and sugar we are short. So I think, but what I really think is that, again, you really have to weigh what's going on right now, and it's kind of quiet. There's not much action going on right now. I think you have to look very carefully and try to find your best opportunities. If you're going to trade, of course, we hold positions, or we're either long, short, or flat every single day. But again, I think the markets are, I believe the recent rally to be false. I'm not going to say to sell it. I'm just telling you that I believe that it will fail, and I think it's got a higher probability of failing. So we'll see what happens. In the meantime, this is Bubba's Bottom Line for Sunday, May the 5th. Let's step out for our final break and come back with, of course, my commentary. Well, kids, again, of course, just want to remind you of our partners, Tradier Brokerage, Capital Trading Group, Well Charts, all scrolling on the sides, and of course, on the bottom, our high school program. And of course, let's get back to Bubba's Bottom Line and my commentary. Welcome back. It is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Sunday, May the 5th. And of course, every week I give you a little bit of commentary of what I'm thinking. And well, I don't know. It's pretty damn depressing to watch what is going on in the United States of America. a supposedly free country, which no longer really is free. Even you go to stores now, you've got this protesting going on, which is totally ridiculous. You've got these professors at these universities supporting these protesters. You have George Soros financing these protesters. And where is the National Guard when you need them? Where is the law and order in this country? Are you not concerned for your own safety? I mean, if you don't step up and say something and do something, okay, which means the only way you can do something is with your vote, okay? But if you're going to continue if you want your country to be overrun by illegals, if you want your country to be overrun by criminals other than the politicians that we already have, if you want to be taken advantage of, if you want to be afraid for everywhere you go, then just sit by and do nothing and say nothing and keep voting the same way and don't evaluate what's going on. But what is going on in this country right now is disgusting. From the protesting to the overtaxing to the ridiculous inflation to the moronic Fed and to the idiot president. So again, if you're happy with what's going on, hey, who am I to tell you shouldn't be happy? But certainly it is a big worry for our future and for our children and our grandchildren. And if you want your children and grandchildren to live under a communism or a socialism regime, hey, God bless and have a nice weekend. This is Bubba's Bottom Line. Todd Bubba Horowitz. We'll see you back here tomorrow with Bubba's Day Update. And of course, have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you later.